Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Skill 247 Avenue. Thanks for watching the video. Welcome to the live Q&A session. We are currently live. We are currently live after watching the video. So if you have any questions, you can post the questions in the live chat so that we can address the questions. So before we start answering the question, let's refresh our minds on the video we just watched. So in the video, the first thing we talked about was the relative reference. So the relative reference is when the formula adjusts automatically when copied across cells. For example, if you type equal sign A1 multiplying A2 multiplying A2 and then you copy the same formula across the other cells, you realize that the if the first one is a1 multiplying a2 or a1 multiplying b2, the second one will definitely change to a2 multiplying b2, and so on and so forth. So the relative reference adjusts automatically when you copy across cells. And we also looked at the absolute reference. So the absolute reference is when the cell reference is locked with the dollar sign. So for instance, if you have cell A1, if you want to lock the entire cell, that is the column and then the row. You see a cell is formed when a column and a row intersect. This is what we call a cell. So if you want to lock the entire cell, you have to bring a dollar sign to lock the cell. So for instance, cell A1, if you want to lock it, you bring the dollar sign, then you bring A. That means you block the column A. Then you bring dollar sign and then you bring 1. That means you block the row. So when you apply the dollar sign like that, it means the cell has become absolute. It has become fixed. So when you copy the formula across in other cells, it will still refer you back to that particular cell that you've made absolute. So and we went ahead and looked at how we can use the mixed reference. That is the combination of the absolute and then the relative reference. So here, like this, is what happens. For instance, here you can lock only the column and then make the row relative, or you can also make the column relative and then make the row absolute. So this is how that one is used. Now, someone will ask that these things we are learning, how do we apply it in real life? We apply it across many professions. For instance, if you look at the accounting sector, accountants use the absolute reference when calculating percentages against fixed tax rates or interest rates. So they use it a lot, the accountants. And also, when it comes to the education sector, teachers use it a lot when they are tabulating student results. So that's how it is used. So teachers use it a lot for the reports of their students. And also business analysts also use it a lot. Data entry clerks, project managers, a whole lot of professions use these relative and absolute reference. So if you are here, let me see whether you have a question. It seems we have one question, so let me check it out. So the first question is from Muina Muhammad. The question is that is it only used for calculations? Okay, that's an interesting question. Is it only used for calculations. So sometimes it seems my mic went off. I'm back. So the question is that, is it only used for calculations? Yeah, mostly. So as I explained in the video, when you are using the cell reference, hello, it seems my mic was not working, so I'm back. So I'm back to answer the question. We have a question from Moyina Mohammed, so let me answer it. Is it only used for calculations? I believe he's talking about the relative references, absolute references, and then mixed references. The answer would be yes or no. Yes, because mostly we apply it when we are dealing with numbers, but in some situations we use it for data validations, pivot tables, and other things. So technically, you can say that yes, it is only used for calculations, but sometimes you use it for more than calculations. So I hope the question is answered. If you are still here, you can let me know whether you understood what I'm trying to talk about. So the answer is yes and no. When you are using even graphs, you can use those references, absolute and then relative references. So your question is a bit tricky because, for instance, when you are using graphs, still you are dealing with some data. So you can say that it's a form of a calculation. And you, also, when you are dealing with conditional formatting and all those things, there are data involved. So the answer is yes and no. So in some situations, we use the absolute and the relative references for calculations. In some situations, we don't use them for calculations. So we use them for data validation, conditional formatting, charts and graphs, pivot tables, and other things in Excel. So I hope your question is answered. So if you are online, you can send your question. I'll do my best to answer it. So as I was saying, we use the relative, the absolute references across many professions. So the teachers use it a lot when they are preparing grade sheets for their students. You understand? Mostly they will make sure that the scores of the student remain relative, and then sometimes the subject weight stays absolute or constant. Mostly that's how it is used by the teachers. And also, when you look at the business analyst, they rely on the relative reference a lot when they are building uh, models where values are needed to update the system. You understand? So these are some ways we can use them in real life. So if you're online, you can send your questions so that we can answer it. So far, I have only one question, and the one who asked the question, if you are still online, you can let me know whether your question is answered. So this is a very interesting topic because Excel is a very broad subject, and currently we are at the beginners level. Very soon we'll delve deep into the intermediates before we go to the advanced. So as we always say, when you watch the videos, make sure you put them into practice so that what you are learning doesn't go waste. That's the essence of all this. We are doing this to give back to societies for free, and we are making sure that our aim is to impact knowledge on our viewers and our audience. So if you watch these videos and you don't put them into practice, at the end of the day, sorry to say, it's a waste of time. So please, let's put them into practice. So these things we are learning, it doesn't matter which field you are, you can apply them. As I mentioned earlier, the teachers apply them a lot, the accountants, the data analysts, and other professionals, they apply it a lot in their work. So if there are other questions, you can ask it in the live chat. I will attend to it. So even if you don't have a question and then you have any suggestion or any opinion, you can bring it here. So we are still live and we are taking questions. Don't forget that tomorrow we'll be having our lessons on EI essentials, and then on Sunday we continue with the PowerPoint. So do well to attend those lessons or watch those lessons. So if you're online, you can also leave your question here so that we can attend to the question. It seems there are no further questions. So if you are here, you can ask the question so that we can do well to answer it. If there are no further questions, then I would like to sign out. I would like to sign out now. Do well to make a date with us tomorrow for the AI Essentials. See you tomorrow.